So one of the things I love about eastern Montana is all the sandstone we have here. It's all this like this orange yellow. Sorry, I have a kava jumping off the cliff there. But we have all this like orange yellow beautiful sandstone, and there are just like so many amazing textures that you have here, just like these ripples and things like that. And you'll often find fossils and other things out here. And so I think for today's video, I'm just going to be exploring some of the sandstone rocks that we have out at the state lands over here, and see if we can find any fossils and cool textures and patterns to point out, and talk a little bit about the environment that used to be here in the I think, was it the Miocene? Eocene? Something like that. Quite some time ago, something in the realm of 50-ish million years ago. I'll look it up really quick and give you a little bit more info in just a sec. We heard some gunshots, and so Kava's feeling a little bit scared, a little bit anxious and nervous, but doing what I can. Check these out, all these little holes in the sandstone. So Colstrip, as you can imagine by the name, is a mining town where a lot of the economy is based on coal extraction from the Powder River Formation. And because there's a lot of coal in the area, you'll sometimes have layers of sandstone that get baked from underground seam fires. And so you'll have sandstone that makes the color transition from this kind of red substance, or rather from this yellow substance, to kind of red sandstone. And I think that that's what's going on with this one. I'm kind of learning about geology. When I was a paleontologist, I never really picked any of it up, and in the meantime, I'm kind of discovering that it has some interesting stuff that I would actually like to learn. So we'll see what kind of info I can pick up. You gotta say, it's really nice to explore this area without any of the rattlesnakes out and about. It's about maybe like 52 out here, which for this time of year is actually pretty damn warm in Montana. We definitely have lots of rattlesnakes in the summertime, and so anytime you're hanging out around the rocks, you have to be really quite cautious. So it's nice to have the peace of mind with them being less active and kind of burrowed away. So as I said, pretty much anywhere in Colstrip where you find these kind of thin sandstone layers, you can find plant fossils. So you can see where my thumb is there. This is a little blade of grass that fell on some ancient swamp floor 55 million years ago. There's another blade running over that way on this. And this is by far the most common stuff that you'll find out here, are just like ancient bits of grass that left their impressions 55 million years ago, back when Colstrip was covered in really warm swamps. So speaking of fossil grass, look at that. See all those lines on there? All these little blades of grass that left their impressions on the ground. I think it's just so incredible. Just being able to get insights into ancient moments in time so many millions and millions of years ago. And not just the moments in time, but the understanding what was here. And to see Kava's just about as curious of it as I am. She's being very still. She's not doing a lot of running around when I'm doing this, so I'm trying to do some movement in between shots to let her get some exercise. So this is pretty cool. This is a reed fossil in the ground. Well, I guess it's either a reed or a much thicker blade of grass, but you often find like the impressions of it. You don't often find sections where it's like a separate material in there. This is the area that got kind of wrapped around it. Look at all these rippling and wavy textures here. Presumably features of the water when it's flowing through. Kava enjoying the scenery as well. So a little about the history of the Powder River Basin. So the rocks that are in this area were formed about 55 million years ago. And this was in the aftermath of when the Western Interior Seaway, which I talked a little about in the video linked up here, receded. This is a period where the central part of North America had a large inland sea that split the entire continent into two. And at the end of the Cretaceous, the seaway began to dissipate. And when the seaway disappeared, the area that was left out here was a series of these swamps and lakes and stuff like that. And those swamps and lakes were what formed a lot of the sandstone that we see out here. Lots of B-roll. See the black and the orange there? I love all of the layers of rock peeling down, gets removed from the edge, and just progressively over time works its way downhill. I think that's just amazing. It is muddy. So look at the lichen and other growth on this thing. It's just like an artist's easel or something, or palette or whatever they call it, when they're just kind of throwing bits of color onto their plate and mixing it up. All those different colors and textures. And then you look out and in fact it's just nature doing its thing. Kava surveying all that she can see around her. Lion King impersonation. This is a great example of why I just absolutely love sandstone. Even in this kind of gray light, you just have so much depth of color. These kind of orange rings that start to kind of flow out in this direction, starting at the circle there. I just love that color so much. And then that same kind of depth of orange, a completely different kind of material. It's an old dead tree. Waves upon waves. So I don't know if you guys remember a old video about 7, 8, 10, 50 million years ago, which was the 3 videos of the Nature Walk series where the guy's catchphrase was, "That's pretty neat." I realize that that's basically just me, but unironically. I'm just like walking around everywhere going, "Whoa, God, that's so cool." "Wow, that's neat. That is nifty." And that's just the everyday tour experience, right? Just like running around, finding everything just like awe-strikingly cool. So that's just the way I am. That's what makes tour. There's a depth of rawness and just absolutely amazing quality of sandstone that brings you back, right, to so many millions of years ago. I can just like instantly become transported into the lakes and swamps and all of the ripples and water, and it's kind of an experience that I also feel in the desert, where there's an honest quality to it. I think somebody, my friend once told me that the desert always keeps you honest, and I think that there's a similar kind of quality with sandstone, where it really helps you experience this broader ancient world, and it has that kind of honest quality to it. I just love all of the features, all the colors, all the textures, all the stories that it tells, right? Finding the fossils out there. And I'm gonna try to teach myself some geology, I think, going forward, because You know, the main reason I quit paleontology is that I didn't really particularly care about the study of anatomy all that much. It was just kind of a boring process for me. It just wasn't too interesting. And I never like incidentally picked up any knowledge of geology, so my ability to read the rocks and learn those stories is kind of limited right now. So I think one of the things I'm going to do going forward is spend some time just learning geology so that I can walk through these rock layers and you know, better sense the stories of what this place was. So I was hoping I'd find one of these before I was out. This is a leaf imprint, just the thing over there, finger for scale. Deciduous leaf. That's pretty cool. Okay, well that's it for today. Had a good time. Just went around and looking for sandstone and finding fossils and letting Kava run. Just letting her running around, doing her thing, and saw some cool stuff. So I think that's gonna be it for now. My camera should be back before Thursday, so hopefully you'll be able to start filming some wildlife again. So if this is your first time here and you're not yet subscribed, I encourage you to do so. You can click the button down over here, and if you are subscribed, thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you next time. Until then, wonder and wonder. Enjoy yourselves.